Welcome back to Faywatch.
Hey.
Hi.
I'm here with myself, Will, and my lovely, hot,
thank you so much.
Smart, funny co-host.
Funny? Question mark?
Question mark. Rachel and Dina.
Thank you.
We are very excited for the episode we're about to bring you today. It is one of a kind, I think, in terms of some of the content we get to discuss.
It really is.
Yep.
Before we jump in, before we let Dina take our sweaty or not sweaty palms and walk forward, we just wanted to remind everyone that if you're enjoying the podcast, we would really appreciate if you told someone about it.
Yeah.
If you are on Instagram, if you're on TikTok, follow us, rate it, share it.
Help us, spread the word. Find people who are obsessed with this shit as much as we are.
Okay, well, with that gross self-promotion out of the way. Dina.
Oh my gosh. I am so excited. I really feel like I get the episodes with some of the really good stuff. But we start off today at where else in Crescent City but a shooting range.
Of course.
Should have known we were going to land here at some point.
Yeah.
So this place is a converted warehouse that occupies 4 city blocks, and it has like a sniper length gallery. And it's like the only one in the city, which tells me that there's probably, 400 shooting ranges in this place. But I want to pause here and ground us all for a minute and just let us remind ourselves before we get into this scene that we are in a fantasy novel. Okay? And in this fantasy novel, we are suspending disbelief about lots of things, including in next episode about the existence of literal merpeople. Okay? Yeah. And so I've decided in this moment, because we're in a different fantasy world, that it is okay if the scene is a little hot.
To become pro-gun.
It is okay if we let the guns be a little hot.
It's okay.
In this one scene, in this one, we're in a different... Sure, they have cell phones. Sure, fine. But they also have pointy ears and magic and quail shifters and demons.
Do not read this as an endorsement of who's like the hot blonde. Who's
no,
like
I don't know who
guns.
they are, but we're not saying their name out loud.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah,
we're obviously anti-NRA here, but we are in a fantasy novel, a different world, and we're going to let it be hot.
Yeah.
This is a safe space.
I'm really glad that you set up that safe space for us in the gun range, because I'm glad that we kind of took a moment, and I'm with you.
Also, I think at the start we learned that allegedly guns are highly regulated in this world.
Great.
So, it's fine.
Okay, great. Extra justification. Perfect.
Yeah.
Our hot detective duo, Bryce and Hunt, are basically stalking the Alpha Theta Phi boys so they can...
That's a good one.
Sneakily meet with them. Thank you. I was very excited about that. And they found them at this gun range. They are bros being bros here, doing the classic kind of oh man, you're off by half an inch. And then he shoots it and he's like, straight shot to the balls, dick bags.
Yeah.
It's like locker room talk,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And poor Hunt is feeling so lonely that he's looking at this and feeling jealous of it because he doesn't have bros to be bros with. He's just wearing his hat all by himself.
So sad.
I know. And he wonders if Bryce is feeling the same because of her little friendship situation, aka all of them being murdered. Anyway.
Bad situation, yeah.
We have so much fun back and forth here. And Flynn immediately, I get why you could hate him from this, but immediately I'm like, you're so funny and I love you. He's being the brother's best friend so hard right now. He's just flirting with Bryce nonstop. Bryce is like, sorry to interrupt. We have things to discuss. And when Rune is like, you could have called. And she says, I didn't want this out there on the networks. Flynn is like, cloak and dagger shit. Nice. Color me intrigued.
Yeah. So on the audiobook, the voice that you just did is how Declan talks. And then weirdly, Flynn has a southern twang. But you just did a Declan really well.
Wow. Okay, good to know. That's so funny. I could totally see that, having a little southern twang. But anyway, Bryce is being so much the younger sister. She's like, I'm not here to talk to you. And he's like, you wound me.
You wound me.
You wound me, Bryce.
So everybody's bantering. To get to the point of this visit, Bryce asks Declan, who's our hot tech bro, gay bro extraordinaire, importantly, we love him. She asks him if he can analyze footage from Luna's temple the night the horn was stolen. They know that the authorities have analyzed it already, but they're like, maybe they missed something. He's really good at finding things that people missed in their, I don't know, servers or something. I don't understand how computers work. So he agrees to take a look. Bryce is like, cool, great. Also, don't fucking tell the Autumn King, and threatens them. And Hunt is just having the time of his life watching her be mean to them. It says he'd like nothing more than to grab some popcorn and a beer, kick back in a chair, and watch her verbally fillet these assholes.
Love.
And there's like a moment a page earlier, his pulse began to pound like the music because of her cool mocking indifference in the tone of her voice.
Hot.
So hot. And like Hunt doesn't even know it's about to get so much worse for him because Rune is like, okay, big talk, like show us what you got, basically. And I'm going to bring us directly to the text here because I think it's an important moment for detail.
Yes.
It cannot be paraphrased.
And so it goes, she smirked. I don't need to prove I can handle a big gun to run with the boys club. Wait. Hunt's skin tightened at the feral delight in her eyes as she said, big gun. Thank you for clarifying. Other parts of him tightened.
Incredible.
Does this man have a gun fetish? Because his blood thrummed, his body tensing as surely as if she'd gripped his cock.
Can you say that more clearly? As surely she
I don't want to.
His cock. Thank you. I just don't want that to be lost.
Thank you for saying it more clearly because I simply could not. This man is losing it watching her.
Yes.
She's like stroking the rifle.
gun.
I don't know if one must stroke the rifle before they shoot it. I haven't been there myself, but he's losing it watching this.
Yeah, while her fingers brushed over the chassis, stroking all chassis. That's what
I
you
learned
said.
that from the audiobook.
Oh, wow. Would have never known.
Brushed over the chassis, stroking all the way down to the butt plate. Like,
wow.
Of the gun, mind you.
Yeah.
Still talking about the gun.
It's just so good. And again, we're just letting ourselves enjoy it. And I had actually forgotten for a second, but then the book like very helpfully reminds us that our sweet girl boss was raised by a legendary sharpshooter. Right before she says, allow me to demonstrate why you all can kiss my fucking ass, and shoots 3 times. And Flynn is like, you only landed 1, ha ha ha. And then they're like, oh shit, no. Like, she's just so precise that she like shot them all through the same hole.
Yep.
Hunt's mouth dries out entirely.
Yeah, importantly, a chill skittered down Hunt's body that had nothing to do with fear.
Ooh.
Oh, we love it. But she looks at him, waiting to see how he'll react. And it's like how many males had run from this part of her, their alpha hole egos threatened by it. Hunt hated them all merely for putting the question in her eyes. Because she's like, oh, are you going to like not think I'm hot anymore because I can shoot a gun?
Yeah, apparently she's had a lot of dates at like a shooting range.
Yeah.
And as soon as the guy, you know what they do, like, you know how straights now are doing like axe throwing or whatever?
Yes. I knew you were going to say that. She's like too good at axe throwing.
It sounds like she's like, so many guys have seen my sharpshooting skills and have just walked away from it all.
But don't worry, not Hunt.
Not Hunt.
He's like fully ignoring the boys, like staring her deep in the eyes, and then like picks up the gun and shoots it right through the same like hole in the target that she made.
Yep.
Her cheeks are flushed, her eyes like warm whiskey. They're just like awkwardly like staring at each other.
They both have a gun fetish.
Yeah. Like,
by the way, also, like, okay, this is a gripe or whatever of the like being able to smell arousal thing. Because conveniently it's not brought up here, but obviously the other 3 dudes standing there would be like in a cloud of like arousal set. Yeah. Like, so, but it's not brought up here because like that'd be fucking awkward.
Right.
You know? Surely they smell very aroused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Well, that's It's nice of them to give them a moment to have their sweet little gun fetish together.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Isaiah does not want them to have this moment because he calls and ruins gun fetish flirting with news of another murder.
Ugh, just douse the flames.
They fly to Asphodel Meadows, which is where the murder happened. The whole crew is there. Asphodel Meadows, pretty gross, pretty smelly, lots of garbage around. Mm-hmm. There was a temple guard who was murdered. You might ask, was he on duty the night that the Luna horn was stolen?
How could we know?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was indeed. SJM notes offhand, and thus I note, that the alley where this guy was murdered was, quote, in the shadow of the North Gate. I'll leave that there.
Okay.
Bryce has a realization. She's like looking at a map on her phone and like putting like little pins down in her Google Maps of where all the murders happened. And she notices that they all happened within steps of major avenues on top of ley lines. Mm-hmm. Which are natural channels for first light, aka like highways of power.
And they're like somehow connected to the gates, right?
They flow right through the gates.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bryce, in my head, I'm like, oh, you're close, girl. She's like, maybe whoever's summoning this demon is using the power of the ley lines to like have the strength to do it. They're all having, various little chats and sidebars and figuring out what happens, what happened with the guard. We have a moment where Declan kind of warns Bryce about Hunt, but then probably because he smelled her arousal earlier.
Right. Yeah. Of her arousal as regards the foremost assassin.
Right. Right. The shadow of death. Yes.
Yeah.
But then when Hunt comes over and says, the 33rd, the angels are on it. And Declan says, I'm not holding my breath. Hunt is like, yeah, me neither. And they like have this nice moment where Declan's like, yeah, your situation's like fucked up. And he's like, yeah, it is. And he's like, cool. Bros, maybe one day.
It sucks you're a slave, man.
Yeah, they basically each apologize to each other.
Yeah.
That's the subtext.
Yeah. It was like, a bro apology where the word sorry is never said.
No weakness was shown, but...
Right. Hunt can tell that Bryce is starting to freak out again, and so they like look at each other and nod. And then they're like, okay, we're going now, bye. Our sweet fuckboy Flynn blows Bryce a kiss. Hunt and Bryce make it approximately half a block before he's like, so, did you and Tristan Flynn ever hook up?
Yeah, just
wondering.
Just a casual question between friends.
Yeah.
But this turns into a bit of a Bryce and Hunt sharing corner.
Yeah.
So we get two kind of main things and two side notes.
Okay.
Bryce talks about the Tristan Flynn thing, and she says they never hooked up, but she had the biggest crush on him as a kid. As soon as she visited and met him, again, it was very classic. Older brother's best friend.
Yeah, that is a vibe.
And she said she used to like write the words Lady Tristan Flynn all over her notebooks as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
I know. Which
Bryce.
Hunt shares about Shahar. Bryce asks if he still has a thing for her, and he says, until the day I die.
Yeah.
It says Bryce still wasn't entirely sure what to do with the dropping sensation in her stomach.
Well, didn't he also say that Shahar ruined him for anybody else?
Yeah, that's an aggressive statement, my man, that you might regret making.
Yeah, he does say that.
That's so sad.
Yeah. And she feels kind of dumb for reading into things, even though she definitely wasn't.
Well, yeah, she's not. This is like classic boy, just not thinking about what they're saying.
Yeah. I'm being quite dramatic, but sure.
He's being dramatic.
Yeah. So two other things we get here. Number one, when Bryce is sharing about the Tristan Flynn thing, there's a note about how she didn't mention this to Hunt. But at some point senior year of college, she and Danica went to a bar and they were there, and Danica went home with him, which I'm just like, isn't that girl code 101?
It sounded like Bryce is like, well, I can't, so you should. I think that was the vibe.
Okay.
And I'll like live vicariously through your story.
Right. And then you could like tell me about it in detail.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll accept that. More importantly, side note number 2, in the midst of her sharing, Bryce says, do you want to hear about my worst hookup ever? And tells Hunt about a vampire who wanted to, quote, eat while eating.
If you know what I mean.
Which sounds so painful.
I don't know, Dina. Don't knock until you try it. Could be fun. Hey, if the listeners need any recommendations along those lines, email me. I got a couple books.
I was going to say, if you're interested in sort of our general thoughts on the vampire lovemaking, blood-sucking.
Yeah, we do have a lot of those.
We have to refer you
to season 1, episode something. Cozy Cave.
A Cozy Cave.
I think it's the 6th episode.
But we never get...
Eating while eating.
This.
No, we never get that in Serpent.
To eating while eating.
Okay, well, to each their own, but not for Bryce.
Not for you.
Not for me.
I'm not saying it's for me, but I'm saying, like, I haven't tried it, so.
You're so open-minded.
I know, I'm really open-minded.
Wow.
Just like a modern sexually liberated woman.
I know.
Wait, sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
Just to sort of wrap that up. As she says that, she didn't fail to note his glance to her legs. Between them, the way his eyes seemed to darken further, something within them sharpening. So maybe Hunt's into that.
Maybe. He's either way, he's into her legs.
Yeah.
And what's between them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately, again, their flirting is thwarted because they run into none other than Sabine as they're walking, who immediately starts yelling at Bryce about how she's a stupid slut and seethes, "Where the fuck is my sword?"
And spits at her.
Yeah, spits at her. But apparently Declan works fast because they get home, they're getting ready for bed, and Declan calls Bryce. And she goes to, like, knock on the door of Hunt's room, and he opens it, and he's shirtless. And she's just fully gaping at him and doesn't realize that he sees her, and he's just watching her with a shit-eating grin on his face. Will, I thought of you because
I have muscles upon muscles upon muscles, all covered by golden brown skin.
Oh, no. I was gonna talk about Declan.
Okay.
Yes, definitely also that for sure. To be clear, yes, 100%. But
Thank
also
you.
when they get Declan on speaker phone or whatever, and Declan's like, "The tax-paying residents of this city should revolt at how their money's being blown on second-rate analysts instead of people like me." I just feel like that's something you would say.
Yeah, tough but fair.
Well, it's even better if you recall that he also works for the city, and so this is like a little like intra-bureaucratic tussle. He's mad at the Angel analyst. He's like, "Why didn't you send it to us over at the Fae police squad?"
It's so cute. I just continue to love Declan. But anyway, his news is that the footage from the temple the night the horn was stolen was switched with footage from another area of the city.
Right.
And guess who was in charge of investigating the footage back when the horn was first stolen? Sabine, bitches.
Wow.
So this puts a huge target on her back. This is like a lot for Bryce and Hunt to process. So they're sitting on the couch and processing, and Hunt is like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense, right? The Prime was going to skip her over to go right to Danica. Bryce is like, she wouldn't kill her own daughter. And Hunt is like, do you really believe that? And Bryce is like, no. Importantly, Hunt remembers Sabine saying some weird shit in the observation room the first night that Danica died. And so he calls Isaiah, who obviously keeps meticulous notes.
Need we say anything?
Right. Wait, what was it called, Will?
Best little boy.
BLB.
Oh,
BLB.
Yeah. Our BLB, Isaiah, kept meticulous notes and just like quickly pulls them up. And it's about how Sabine was saying Danica couldn't stay out of trouble. She could never keep her mouth shut around her enemies. Look what became of her. She should have known better. About what? About all of it, starting with that slut of a roommate. Okay, get some new words for Bryce, but anyway. Importantly here, Hunt sees Bryce stiffen up, and so he puts his hand on her knee and rubs his thumb over it to comfort her.
Wow.
Honestly,
we're
like,
getting a lot of knee play and a lot of hand play.
And a lot of thumb. A lot of Hunt's thumb.
A lot of thumb. He's a big thumb. He uses his thumb in circles a lot, I've noticed. Also, I just want to flag, per an earlier discussion, she is wearing sleeping shorts and an oversized worn t-shirt, which I do believe is the kind of gold standard.
Yes.
of sleep attire, given what you two told me.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, SJM, for registering our feedback.
Yeah. No, she implemented it quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was impressive of her.
Yeah, thank you.
No, that's an important detail. Thank you, Will. And yes, a lot of hunt thumb stuff, which is we love.
A lot of thumb stuff.
Yeah.
He's a thumb guy.
Also, I will say, they're talking about like how, okay, this could be construed in a lot of ways. Like maybe it wasn't Sabine. And I'm like personally not on team Sabine killed Danica yet, but we shall see.
Is that because it showed up 50% of the way through the book and...
That is
seems a little
100% of the reason why, Will. Literally, I was looking, I was like, this is like 47% of the... No way have they identified the killer so early. Then it's really cute because Bryce needs to go for a run, even though it's 1 a.m, and Hunt joins her.
Oh, wait. I'm so sorry because you skipped something important.
Oh, do tell.
Don't get too excited.
Oh.
But I do believe we also have confirmed not only is Hunt a thumb man, but he's a toe man.
Oh my God.
He's a foot guy.
Oh my God. Rachel, I can't believe I almost... Thank you so much. I have this highlighted. Wow.
Yeah.
Rewind.
It's at page 371 for the interested listener.
Yeah, this is such an important line. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So except they're musing, they're going over everything. I think we have to be right at the text here. Rachel, do you want to take it away?
Sure. I will. Since I brought it up, I'll happily. Okay. Talk. Bryce says something. Bryce mused, toying with her toes. They were painted a deep ruby. Ridiculous, he told himself. Not the alternative. The one that had him imagining tasting each and every one of those toes before slowly working his way up those sleek, bare legs of hers. Bare legs that were mere inches from him, golden skin gleaming in the first lights. He forced himself to withdraw his hand from her knee, even as his fingers begged to move, to stroke along her thigh. Higher.
And, like, it also says Bryce sort of continues to just, like, talk, oblivious to his filthy train of thoughts.
Yeah. Love that.
It's so good. It's so deep. I love that also that he's like, what a weird night if his thoughts had drifted in this direction. Honestly, they'd been drifting in this direction since the gun range.
Yeah, and it's like, also they've been drifting there before, but sure. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, let's just mark it back, date it back to the gun range.
Yeah.
Right. The stroking of the chassis or whatever it's called.
We also, I guess, get confirmation that she shaves her legs, but I feel like that was sort of implicit in her whole vibe.
Yeah.
She's putting in a lot of effort.
Yeah.
But they might have potions for that. That'd be cool.
Okay, anyway, Bryce needs to go for a run. It's 1 a.m. Hunt is like, I'm obviously coming with you. It's kind of cute because she's able to blast her headphones knowing that no one's going to bother her because the shadow of death is running right next to her and he doesn't say anything. He doesn't complain. He just keeps pace. Her leg starts hurting really badly. Hunt tries not to say anything about it, but he eventually asks about it, and he seems both personally pained because he knows that he did it and also annoyed that she hasn't gotten help for it. We get a really fun intermission. I've been so excited to talk about this with you guys. We switch over to Rune.
Dina boyfriend.
For a scene with a medwitch.
With Dina's boyfriend and Dina's girlfriend.
The throuple that Dina will complete, yeah.
Literally, though.
You love a witch.
Yeah, this is like my perfect bisexual chapter.
Yeah. And, might I add, at an appropriate time, I want to discuss some sort of room/sensory porn.
Oh, room.
Yeah, room.
As opposed to rune.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So essentially, one of the ideas that our little Scooby-Doo crew had was whether fixing the horn actually involved healing it, and thus whether medwitches would have any insight about how someone might do that. So Rune took on this part of the group project, and he's been talking to medwitches, and lucky for him, there was a really hot medwitch at the Asphodel Meadows murder site, so he goes to see her the next day to ask about it.
Yeah.
A couple of fun things here. Number one, obviously, the medwitch is very hot, but importantly, her voice is really lovely. And with this note, we get a very fun, again, SJM A+ attention to detail world-building sidebar about how the phase-sensitive hearing has made Rune run from dates and one-night stands when people have weird laughs or make awkward sex sounds. He can't handle it and runs away.
He's like, how many partners have I never called again?
Yeah.
Okay, dude.
Yeah, it says he'd once nearly run from a date with a young nymph when her high-pitched giggling had sounded more like a porpoise's squeal. Oof.
Tough.
We also get some fun witch background, which I'm like the number one witch girly for life, and I love. So it says, they were a strange, unique group, the witches. Though they looked like humans, their considerable magic and long lives marked them as veneer. Their power mostly passed through the female line.
Mostly. I want to meet some male witches.
Yeah. It says their power was inherited from some ancient source that the witches claimed was a three-faced goddess, but witches did pop up in non-magical families every now and then. So what I loved about this was the reference to the three-faced goddess.
I knew you would.
Thank you so much for seeing me, which is, to be clear, not only an explicit reference to the witches of Throne of Glass. The three-faced goddess is, of course, the maiden, the mother, the crone.
Of course.
But also Greek mythology reference to, I literally never know how to say this, Hecate.
Hecate. Yeah.
Hecate. Bless, don't spite me. Hecate, wherever you are. A goddess who, when I looked her up on Wikipedia, is apparently associated with crossroads, with entranceways, and with the moon.
Ooh.
Isn't that fun?
Love that.
Wow.
Anyway, we love witches, and I just want to be very clear with you all in this moment, not having read much past this, that by approximately 3 pages into this chapter, I was like, if this bitch is not Hypaxia, if this bitch is not the new witch queen, you can have my arm, you can have my life savings. I would bet my bottom dollar that this bitch is the new witch queen. And here's my evidence.
Okay.
Number 1, she has an accent from a very different area that Rune can't place. She's kind of too young to be already working as a medwitch, which Rune notes. It literally says when she opens the door for Rune that she did so as gracefully as a queen.
Isn't that a bit on the nose, though?
And she has this really awkward moment where Rune asks about the new queen, and she's like, who? What? What? What do you mean?
That's interesting. That's an interesting theory.
Anyway, I am 1,000,000% positive, and I loved it. I was so here for it. I was like, this is great. Just so you guys know who are listening, they're both just giving me their little, like, we're not telling you either way. And so Will's, like, awkwardly looking off screen.
I'm mostly wondering, I'm like,
staring
you said you'd bet your life savings. Is that, like, a negative number at the moment?
It actually is negative. Yeah.
Negative. And you're
that's about, like,
Dina.
yeah.
Rude. Yeah, I'll bet my life savings on anything, babe.
Yeah. Pass on this debt.
They talk about healing a magical object, which she guesses that they're talking about the horn quite quickly, which I'm like,
yeah, it's like, okay.
Interesting. Then they have this whole conversation about how maybe now that there have been so many modern advances in medicine and magic, and there's all these like lasers and machines and things, that maybe somebody developed something recently that could fix it. But then it's like, number 1, the secret witch queen says that she doesn't know the modern stuff too well because, quote, my knowledge of healing is rooted in our oldest ways.
Yeah, she's...
Which to me sounds like a very good thing because obviously this is about some ancient shit. But do you think light that is not light, magic that is not magic is something that has a power button and a charger? No.
Right. It's like,
you know what I mean?
medical device company is gonna solve this problem.
Right. Obviously, it's like we're talking about Starlight or First. You know what I mean? Like, we're not talking about... But fine, they're not quite getting there, but they're doing the best they can. They have this good conversation. And when Rune leaves, she says, I hope to see you again, Prince. And he couldn't stop pondering the tone and promise of her farewell.
Wow. And this was all like they were having tea.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. We do. Yeah. You promised that we were going to do the room porn, and we haven't.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I got too excited.
So we're going to have to backdate this. Everybody pretend like you had this in mind the whole time. Okay. She has to see a patient when he shows up. She's like,
because she's dedicated. She's dedicated to her
so
craft.
dedicated. She's such a good healer. Yeah. But she's like, if you wait for me, then
we can have lunch.
Yeah. And so she brings him out to a slate-covered patio surrounded by terraced herb gardens. The day was indeed lovely, the river breeze making the plants rustle and sway, spreading their soothing fragrances. And she sits him down in a wrought iron table and chairs by a bed of mint. Her scent is lavender and eucalyptus.
I mean, could you get any better than that?
Incredible. And then when she brings out her little tea spread, he gets his tea and he inhales the scent of tea, and it's peppermint and licorice and something else, a whisper of vanilla and something woodsy. Sounds great.
Yeah, the licorice
Sounds
I can
so
do without,
great.
but yeah.
Okay, just what if it's just a tiny touch?
No.
Not for you. You're not an anise boy. And then she brings out a little spread, which I will say it seems more like a snack spread than a lunch spread.
Yes, I noted that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Figs, grapes, cheese, bread, and honey. And she's putting like some honey on her, drizzling honey on her cheese, and she puts it on the bread, which sounds nice. But it sounds like more
That
of
sounds great.
It's not enough. Like you need some more protein.
There's no protein.
Like we need just the cheese. It's not really enough.
It's a nice like French lunch.
Right. But yeah, I just loved this setting. It's like all of the spa, like healing herbs.
Yeah. Wait, Rachel, you know what this reminds me of?
Mhm.
I have been texting Will and Rachel because I'm reading the City of Brass trilogy right now. And you actually really need to read it because there's an infirmary area and there's all these gardens with all the healing herbs, and there's an orange grove in the middle, and it's like all enchanted by magic.
Wow.
You should read it because the book is really good, but you would die at the descriptions if you loved this one.
That sold me. It's on my Libby Holds list, so.
Fab. Ugh, a great visit with the medwitch.
With that random medwitch, yeah.
Switching back to our sweet honeys, Bryce and Hunt. They are going to visit Victoria because she has been looking into the whole magic energy grid thing. So Isaiah and Hunt are talking about all of this on the roof of Bryce's gallery while she's working, when all of a sudden Hunt's phone buzzed and he pulled it from his pocket. He choked, quote, "Not just at the message from Bryce. The gallery roof isn't a pigeon roost, you know."
Love.
Got him.
That's a good one.
Got him. But what she changed her contact name to, Bryce Rocks My Socks.
Yeah.
Like, so funny. Like, they're being...
It's 15.
It's 15.
13.
It's 15.
No, maybe 15.
Right.
And she's 25.
Right.
He's
Right, but they're
200.
like... not supposed to be flirting for all these reasons. And so they're like, oh, haha, I'm just making fun of you.
Yeah.
Whatever. I think it's cute.
Yeah, no, we do, but we just have to note.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
And beneath the ridiculous name, she added a photo to her contact, the one she'd snapped of herself in the phone store, which is really cute. She's kind of like, we're going to be friends now.
Yeah.
Now you have my contact.
friends. Just friends.
They then go to see Victoria. It's raining though. And so they like have a little argument about how they're gonna get there. And she wants to call a car, but he's like, we have to fly. Whatever. Eventually she gives in and they fly to go see Victoria, and they get there. They're soaked and she just looks like a drowned rat, I think. When they're flying, I wrote this in my notes and I forgot what I meant by it. We officially get some FWF. And I was like, what do I mean by that? And then I meant flirting while flying.
FWF,
yeah, thank God.
yeah.
Thank God we moved on to that phase.
Flying while flirting.
There's ear crooning.
There's crooning in her ear.
Yeah.
Skittering. Things are skittering.
Oh my God. There's so much skittering. He says, yeah, don't be a baby. He crooned in her ear because she's terrified still. He tells her to enjoy the view. She keeps her head ducked against his chest, but he gave her a squeeze. And he added his voice nearly a purr. I'll buy you a milkshake if you do. Her toes curled in her shoes at the low, coaxing voice.
List of things turning Bryce on of late. Guns. Kind of mutual gunplay. Milkshake.
Milkshakes.
I mean, I'm just reading what the text is put.
Yeah, you're just... Yeah.
And so she's clutching his shoulders and she tries to squint through and look at the city. Obviously, I think this is where it's like, okay, this is a cute scene. And then SJM like insert this explanation of how the gates are all connected together. Like some twining beast breaking the surface of a lake. The avenues and ley lines all connected beneath them. Just noting that for future reference.
Yep.
Anyway, back to the flirting. He's like, not so bad, huh? And she pinches his neck and his answering laugh brushed over her ear. She might have pressed her body a little harder against the solid wall.
Wall.
We're back. I just like banged my microphone out of excitement.
Nothing we love more. Again, season 1 reference. Go back if you want to hear us talk about a wall of a man for 8 episodes. But our boy Hunt, also a solid wall of a man. So they get to see Victoria, who, to her credit, pretends to be meeting Bryce for the first time and does not hearken her back to the first time they met in the observation room when Victoria kind of not tactfully made her listen to the sounds of her friends dying.
Right.
And she found grainy pictures of the Crystallis' foot or claw caught in the corner of a camera because apparently someone summoned it last night and it was around Moonwood and the den, but nobody was murdered. She says it seems like it was looking for something or someone. Mm-hmm. Apparently it was all around Moonwood, but then the last known location was at the Rose Gate in Firo, and it was simply there one moment and gone the next. Importantly, during this scene, most importantly, Bryce is obviously getting a little freaked out, and then a warm, strong hand gently gripped her thigh.
I assume they're sitting at a table, right? Like it's under the table.
Not really.
You know, I was wondering that. I thought that I was picturing them like sitting in a cubicle, but maybe they are across the table.
Well, I think they're across the table or whatever, but it's not under the table because Victoria clocks it at one point.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, it says Victoria kind of gave him an almost look of warning, you know? Like, I feel like both Bryce and Hunt, their people are kind of warning them about each other. Yeah. They're like, we all can smell your arousal, basically.
Well, also, if you're having like a business meeting and like the guy puts a hand on the bare thigh, I would be like,
excuse,
giving him a stink eye. I'd be like, hello, I'm right here. Like,
yeah.
Well, and it's also that thing. I feel like if you've been in a situation where you and someone think you're getting away with your little your little secret tryst,
touches,
and like everyone can tell, but is just kind of politely not noticing or saying anything, but you think you're really getting away with it.
Yeah, exactly. You have your hand on her bare thigh.
Never been there.
Also, did we catch at some point, I think his wee wing?
That's what I was going to say, yes!
So cute. Oh, his wee little
I actually
wing.
find this so cute. His wing curves around her
to
almost protect her. That's so cute. Yeah. I feel like we haven't seen that in a wing before.
I don't think we have.
It's a new wing trick.
And then when they get caught, Hunt takes his hand off and Bryce just sort of taps her nails on the chair like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's really cute. Later that day, they're back at the gallery and they're leaving at the end of the day and they have to go investigate the Rose Gate. But first they have to leave the gallery, but it's still pouring rain and Syrinx does not want to go. And it's really cute because Bryce is trying to like drag Syrinx away and it's not happening. And so Hunt, I guess, uses wind to pull him off the rug and into his arms so they can fly home together in the rain. They're little family.
And Syrinx is like, bah, 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 bah. And Hunt's like, none of that, beastie. And Syrinx is like, okay. Because he knows he's the alpha. It's
time for them to go investigate the Rose Gate. And importantly, Bryce puts on the correct clothes.
Wow.
She changed into athletic gear. I'm picturing her in her little Lululemon outfit.
Yeah, I mean, it's still hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
Right, of course it's still hot. Yes, Bryce, embrace your Tribeca mom moment. They go to investigate the Rose Gate, whatever, some plot. Hunt is like, maybe we were wrong about the Lee lines and maybe it's the sewer. Oh, babes, like, it's obviously the gates. Don't go running around through a bunch of poo for the wrong answer. But they can't go down into the sewer because they don't have enough weapons and it's too dangerous and there's all this cute banter, blah, blah, blah. And then they have this great idea that since all the sewers lead to the Istros River, you know who might know something? The Mer people. So we'll get there next episode.
Oh my gosh.
But before we do that, we will conclude this episode with, dare I say, one of the best scenes of literature of all time. They get home from investigating the sewers. It's still pouring rain, and Bryce sprints to the shower. You know, she like takes off her shoes and everything, like makes sure Hunt takes off his shoes, sprints to go shower. He is knocking to be like, the soap in the guest room is out. Do you have another bar? And she's like, yeah. Just go to the linen closet, grab another. A few minutes later, he knocks again. His grave tone had her shutting off the water. What's wrong? She whipped a towel around herself. She opened the door. Hunt was shirtless. She might have ogled the muscles he was sporting if his face hadn't been serious as hell. He's like, you want to tell me something? And she's like, about what? And he's like, about what the fuck this is? And he has a purple glittery unicorn. I'm sorry, unicorn Pegasus.
Yes.
Yeah, unicorn Pegasus.
In his hands. And she's like, why did you go snooping through my things? She tells him that this is Jelly Jubilee.
Jelly Jubilee. So these are like My Little Ponies, basically.
Are they? Oh, I thought it was like Beanie Babies, kind of.
I mean, similar idea, but I think, do you know what My Little Pony is?
No, it was a show, right?
Google it.
Like now.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, if you want.
Yeah, they're like My Little Ponies. First of all, can I just say,
yeah,
the OC season 2, is everybody aware?
Oh, Captain.
Do you guys know Summer and Seth?
Captain whatever. What's his name?
I forget their horses' names, but like Summer has this like secret little purple horse.
Yeah.
And Seth makes fun of it, but then like they like bond over like he has a little horse too.
Yeah.
And it was giving me OC season 2 and I was just fully living for it.
Well, did you Google My Little Pony?
Yeah, but like, yeah.
So that's what it is. I think that tracks with SJM's age. She's a little bit older than us. And I think My Little Pony was big.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
Yeah.
Before our time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she is like, oh, here's another one called Peaches and Dreams. And he's like, what? You're 25. And she like loves that they're sparkly and squishy. And she tells them about how they were the only thing that made her feel normal as a kid because she got Jelly Jubilee and the kids were nice to her because she had the cool toy. Okay, fine, blah, blah, blah. He's like, okay, now I can't make fun of you about it. But most importantly, she strides over to the linen closet and she's like, the soap is right there. Why did you go find this other box on the highest shelf? Quote, she could have sworn color stained his cheeks. I saw purple glitter. She blinks at him. You thought it was a sex toy, didn't you? He said nothing. You think I keep my vibrator in the linen closet?
Love.
She's like, next time you want to check out my vibrators, just ask Athalar. She inclined her head toward her bedroom door and winked. They're in the left nightstand.
She's so good at turning the little tables on him. Every time he thinks he's got one on her, she just sort of snaps back.
Yeah. But yeah, what a place to leave us all.
So cute.
Who can say, not me, whether the left nightstand will ever come back into the story again. Truly not me, but can't wait to find out.
Crossed.
Next time, we will have some mer people, so get excited for that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, come say hi, Instagram, TikTok, share us with your friends.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
See you next time.